here we are, three dudes in a football, getting right into the Titans, getting their ass whooped by the Cleveland Browns. Let's go.
Man. What? Hey, that was your worst intro you've ever done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Three dudes in football. Here's what sucks. Your turn.
Yep. Yeah. I'll edit that.
Well,
might as well. With the Band-Aid.
Yep. Let's see what time does that happen back? 29 seconds. All right, here we go. Three dudes in a football. What are y'all up to? I'm Adam.
Miles.
Mike.
And we're going to talk about some NFL shit. First off, we're going to talk about the Titans, who got their ass whooped this past Sunday, 41-35. But that score does not.
Out.
Dude, that score does not reflect how bad it was, because that score makes it seem a lot closer.
No,
but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Now, it was what was it, 38-7 going into the half?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now they had 3 turnovers. The Titans did. I mean, they just got their ass handed to them in the first half. Derrick Henry only had 60 yards rushing for the total game. I want to say he only rushed 18 times.
15.
Or 13 times. 15, sorry. We'll get there. But
he had a couple chunk runs that made those numbers look better, but they stonewalled him just about every time.
Yep. But they were, a lot of people really didn't talk about them going against the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL is the Cleveland Browns. They're ranked number 1 in rushing.
You know what? I think that one of the things that threw the balance of this game way off is that I think the Titans expected them to come out and try to run the ball on them because that's what they're known for doing. That's what they're good at doing. And then they came out and started throwing the ball. Baker Mayfield went over the top. I mean, they scored on 6 straight possessions in the first half. They scored 5 touchdowns and a field goal. And a lot of times it was easy for them to go down and do. I mean, it took like no time at all. So the Titans are sitting here geared up, 7, 8 in the box, and Mayfield's just going haywire. So they didn't plan for it correctly. I will give the Titans credit that when they went in for the second half, they made a lot of adjustments that seemed to work, and they started really getting back into the game, especially like the back part of the fourth quarter. They were really chugging along, and I thought they had a chance. I was telling Miles before he came on, Adam Humphries makes that one catch that turned into an interception because it bounced off his face or whatever. And they could have pulled it out. It was real close.
There was a lot of those catch interceptions off of, bad balls or whatever else this week. A whole lot of them, man. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But no, the Titans, I didn't watch the whole game because I don't get it. I get the red zone, and I'm just, watching what I can. And obviously, I don't understand. Don't you make adjustments quicker? Like, can't you do it besides at halftime? Yeah. Because Baker Mayfield looked like a stud out there. And I don't know if he is a stud. I mean, he's not a bad player, but my word, he must look like just a joke. So I don't know what to think about that because I don't know. I think Cleveland's a good team right now, but they haven't proven themselves in any kind of pressure situation. So I'm really not sure what to think of them at this time.
Yeah, Cleveland's good.
Cleveland is good. I mean, they're.
Are you waiting for me to talk? Yeah. Sorry, dude. No, I was just gonna say. I mean, he's a good quarterback if he gets time in the pocket. When he doesn't get time, he looks terrible. But the Titans, they haven't really threatened anybody this year.
Yeah.
No, they haven't, and the Titans. They almost did it in the second half. They really did, especially in the fourth quarter, like Michael was just saying. But Nick Chubb, he had 80 yards. Kareem Hunt had 33. I mean,
yeah,
our defense is still shit.
I think we all agree that if Browns came out firing, that they would probably win the game, and they did.
Yeah.
Yep.
We did say I think everybody here said if they get the lead, then whoever gets that first lead can sit on the other team, and that happened for a little while. I mean, the Titans did enough in the second half to really get competitive, and I think Cleveland had dialed it back. I mean, they were playing prevent defense; they didn't care. They were just trying to get out there and not get anybody hurt. But they still almost got their ass kicked. I mean, like I said, there was a possession or two that could have really swung this a different way. But even if the Titans win, you imagine the Titans pull this game out. Do you feel good about that? Coming all the way back from 38-7 because you put yourself in that position. That's as far as a team sport, I don't know if you can really take that as a. I mean, it's a win in the stat column, but clearly they didn't win, so I guess it's not a problem they have to worry about.
Do you think the Browns have a chance next week against the Ravens? Because the Ravens look mighty damn good the last night.
Sure. They can be beat.
Yeah. I think so because the Browns have the best rushing defense, and all the Ravens did was rush. So, I think they can the Browns can handle them.
What is up with that? Why are they only good at running the ball this year more than last year? They put that the Cowboys game the other day. It was like almost 300 yards rushing, and they didn't really do much of anything else. They had like one or two passes down the field to kind of sprinkle in, but that's just such a weird way to try to go about and beat some of these teams,
I agree, but it seems to work. I mean, for the most part.
It's kind of 50-50 this year.
Yeah, it is. I mean, Lamar Jackson looked good, but anytime you see what did he have? Single-digit completions and just somewhere in the teens of actual passes. So what are you looking at? An average of what is the average play? It's like 45, 50 in a game or something like that. Maybe 60, 55. I don't know, something like that. So that's way heavy on the run side, and we say this quite often, and I can't stop saying it. I mean, how long does that last?
As long as it works. But here's the thing: it hasn't really been working this year. Not for them.
No. Not every time. But you know what? You know what this does? It kind of reminds me of some old Jeff Fisher teams because he used to run the ball a lot, throw on third down. It would work half of the time. And let's look at his record. He's Mr. 7-9, and that's kind of what you get with that program. If you got the guys to do it, I mean, you're going to win some games, and it's good in January if you get the playoffs. But generally, you just you're running the clock the whole time. It's going to be a lower scoring game, and it's always going to be close, which means every point counts that much more. And the Ravens have found themselves in a lot of close games this year that they couldn't win. They had 2 games against Pittsburgh that they didn't get blown out, and they dominated the rushing stats, and they didn't win either one of those games. Their season's a lot different if they do, but they were so stubborn on this game plan, even with RG3 in there. They weren't really chucking it down the field. So I think it's kind of the mentality I think that they've kind of wound themselves into where they're not going to be a passing team. But you look at some of the better teams in the league, you have to be able to pass the ball. You have to attempt to pass the ball, or you get passed, and you're just not going to win enough games to get where you need to go.
I totally agree. Well, one thing, isn't Andrews out at the tight end? I mean, he's like their number one receiver.
Yes.
So that hurts.
Pissed about that.
They had a lot of people out the week before, when the Titans played them. So the Ravens did.
I mean, they weren't fully a go this last night, were they? I don't know. I don't keep up with all the bullshit COVID stuff anymore.
Yeah, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with how many people are out. I have no idea what string is in, or what. I have no clue. Mm-hmm. But here's my prediction with the Steelers, though. Moving right along, I think they can lose easily 3 out of their last 4 games.
Yes.
I mean, I really do believe that. They got the Bills coming up Sunday, and I'm at the Bills. Which does the home field really matter at this point?
I don't think so.
I think the only benefit of it is that the home team doesn't have to travel.
Yes.
That would be a benefit, especially if you're going across, the country.
And if you're a cold weather team, there's a benefit. Like if you're Green Bay or somebody where you're theoretically more accustomed to playing in the cold weather, and somebody comes there to play you have a slightly better chance. But I don't think it's enough to make a big difference.
Right. So they got the Bills coming up, the Bengals after that on Monday night, which I really don't give 2 shits about that game. And then they are at home against the Colts, and then they go to the Browns. By that point right there, the Browns are really going to be competing for a wild card, if not the division.
Starting all their guys, yeah.
So I really do believe they could go. They could end with 3 losses, 2, maybe 3. I'm saying definitely 2. They're going to lose at least 2 of these 4 games.
I am hesitant to agree with you, simply because the Steelers aren't a wiffle waffle team. You know, they're consistent, and they've been consistently winning. So I don't know that they're just going to flop out here in the last quarter of the season.
All right, let me go over this with you then. First game the Steelers played was the Giants. Then they played the Broncos. Then the Texans, Eagles, Browns, Titans, Ravens, Cowboys, Bengals, Jaguars, Ravens, and then Washington. And Washington was their first loss.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all those teams I just mentioned, I would say only 2, maybe 3 are decent teams. And that would be the Browns, the Titans, and the Texans.
I'd give the Ravens in there too.
Yeah, fuck them.
Well,
Agreed.
The one I will agree with you on this is the one X factor with them losing is if Ben Roethlisberger continues to play like he did this last game. That was just, I don't know if you guys saw any of that, but it was bad.
No, I did not see any of it.
I didn't either. They didn't play it here, but I saw some highlights, and it was not good.
No, they didn't say. I don't remember it. I don't remember it being on the radio, and it's been on the radio. Maybe it was an odd time that it came. It came on like what, at 3:30 or something like that.
Yeah, and it was there was television and radio rights to it, and all that bullshit that gets entangled and only shown in certain areas. So
now I know I just said that the Texans are a good team, but they weren't at that time. That was the 3rd game of the season. But yeah, I would say out of all their opponents, the Browns, Titans, and the Ravens are decent.
Oh, they had a weak schedule.
yes,
They really did. But now it's coming down the stretch that if the Browns continue on the way they played this past week for the next whole game and not just a half a game, dude, they could be a force to be reckoned with.
I agree.
They got the running game. They got Myles Garrett. Dude, Myles Garrett. He's leading the league in sacks at this point.
He was fierce the other day. I mean, he's really making some plays. He missed a couple games there and came back, and he looks better than he has probably since he came in the league. Like, he's kind of hitting that crescendo, that peak of his career, where the next couple seasons he's going to be like what J.J. Watt was when he was winning Defensive Player of the Year back-to-back. I think he's a major X factor in why they can get better as the season goes along. And the Steelers, on the other hand, they've had a lot of injuries, and as they're going down this backstretch, what's funny? I almost forgot to mention this. The Saints, I think, were the first team to lock up a playoff spot. It's like the first time that a team with a loss has locked up a playoff spot before a team without a loss in I don't know how many years. Like this weird statistical thing. Just throwing that in there randomly. But no, I think Pittsburgh is not as good as their record says they are.
I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely. And I believe I'm wrong about who leads in the sacks. I think it's actually T.J. Watt leading in sacks and Myles Garrett second. Let me check that real quick.
Yep. I mean, how do you? I mean, is he gonna be there at the end and still be Defensive Player of the Year? I know we talked about this a little bit before. I mean, is he still on that trend? Do you think?
I'm so way wrong. Hold on, dude. It's T.J. Watt is number 1. Dude, Myles Garrett he's like 5th. Well, technically he's 3rd, but there's like a 3-way tie for 3rd. But
right.
Anyway, sorry. What did you just say?
No, T.J. Watt. I mean, you see him continuing to get better and being like a legit Defensive Player of the Year candidate this year?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I do.
How crazy is that? 2 guys from the same household, brothers. I mean, it's not like Peyton Manning and Eli. It's like a whole different, because they're not – Peyton and Eli were not as good as each other. Let's just be honest about that.
Yes.
I mean, this is like the best player in the league twice from the same household. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Bosa.
What's that?
The Bosas.
There's another – yeah. It's wild.
It is. Freaking crazy. And isn't there a 3rd Watt?
Yeah, he's a fullback. Nobody cares.
Yeah. True.
They're the base players of the team.
Yeah.
It's like JJ and TJ and Bob.
So
I'm kidding.
Is there have y'all heard anything about Cooper Manning?
Yeah, the oldest brother.
Yeah, supposedly his son now, I don't know, but supposedly he has a son in high school that's supposed to be like fucking badass.
5-star recruit.
I believe
Really?
Yep,
He's only like he's just a junior this year, isn't
I think
he?
so.
I've heard a lot of people say that he would have been the best one out of all
it. Yeah.
of them. Cooper.
He was the most athletic by far. He actually was a wide receiver. I think he got recruited as a wide receiver to go to college. Hurt his neck, but no, he was the most athletically gifted of the three.
That's a shame. So when did he get hurt? Was it in high school or was it in college?
I can't remember. I mean, he was. If it was college, it was real early on. It would have been like freshman year or something. I don't know exactly.
Right.
But they basically said he can't play football anymore because if he snapped it, it would, he might not be able to walk the rest of his life. One of those kind of things. But he's a funny dude. He does some like bit parts on ESPN and takes a lot of shots at his brothers. I like him a lot.
Yeah. So all right. So we talked about last week about the MVP. I think we all agree Patrick Mahomes is the lead right now, in my opinion. Didn't we all agree on that last week?
Maybe?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just because a running back's not going to get it, like Mike said.
Right. Did you know that James Robinson's third in rushing?
Is that Jacksonville?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
I got
I
him
know
on
that.
my team. Yep.
Mm-mm. I would have never guessed that.
Dude, he's been consistent every week. I mean, I want to say he averages about 100 a game. Well, obviously not 100 a game, but close to it.
Oh yeah.
He's a good player. I remember watching him just a little bit early in the season when, everybody was kind of like, they didn't really know what Jacksonville was going to be. And I remember seeing him get the ball and just be like, who is this dude?
Yeah.
It's always good to watch somebody come out like that. It's just, I think he's got a lot of good years ahead of him.
And I believe he's undrafted as well.
I think he was.
I believe he is. Yes. Yeah. Came out of Illinois State. Undrafted. Yeah. So, but dude, how many games did Nick Chubb miss?
4?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Dude,
4.
he's still fifth with almost 800 yards rushing this year. On a team that both runners average probably what 60 yards a game, easy each.
They'll both be 1,000-yard backs at this rate.
Wow.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. Especially from one team.
Yes.
Chubb's. I mean, you can make an argument that he was the better back last year, and Derrick Henry just went on a tear at the right time. I mean, it took him until that last game to pull ahead of it. Man, Nick Chubbs does more on a team with less. And I mean, Cleveland's better this year, but I mean, their line and stuff is still not really. It's nowhere near what the Titans was at full strength, and he was making it work last year all the time. It was awesome to watch him run.
So Cleveland has two players in the top 10 for rushing right now. Chubbs is 5th and Hunt is 10th.
That's a path to success right there.
No
you,
shit.
You can do that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's how Yeah.
It gives Baker a lot of slack to get better. I mean, you got to think of a young quarterback. His best friend is a decent offensive line and a good running back, and he's got 2 of them.
Yep. All they got to do is, like you said, work on that line. But dude, their defense is they get pressure. I'm not familiar with their secondary. I mean, obviously, Corey Davis had a hell of a game, dude. He got like 180-something yards.
Yeah, let's talk about him for a second. I mean, what the hell happened with him? He's all of a sudden, I mean, he's really kind of outshining A.J. Brown a little bit there.
Oh, definitely, dude. Definitely. Oh, they're both on pace to get it. I think they both have like 900 yards right now. Oh,
I'm really surprised and impressed that he's able to make that jump this year. It's kind of sad that his contract's running out. I mean, they're going to have to make a really tough decision on him at the end of the year because either you got to pay him some decent money to keep him around, or I mean, and they've already paid a lot of guys, right? Or you got to let him go, and he's just going to make bank somewhere else.
Dude, he had 182 yards this past week. 182 yards.
I mean, that's a lot for a Ryan Tannehill QB, is it not? to one
It is.
receiver. I mean, he's not like a 400-yard passer. We all can agree on that.
He's got
plus-
eight.
Plus,
Sorry,
I mean, no, you're fine. Plus, Davis is not the kind of guy that's going to go over the top. He's a possession guy.
he's got 800 yards so far. 800 yards.
Well,
It's 800 more than I have.
You know, right? They say he's 90. He just needs 90 more yards to tie his career high of 891.
Wow. I didn't know he's had that much.
It's very well. The thing is, I don't know. It just seems like every time that he has big plays, they're always trying to come back. You know what I mean? Like he never. I don't know. Now with Humphreys gone, so basically all you have is AJ Brown, Corey Davis, and that's really all the people that can catch the ball. I'm sorry, Johnny Smith can't catch the ball.
Well, they have a lot of these. For some reason, the Titans this year really invested in a lot of these really small, skinny receivers, like guys that don't look like NFL receivers when they come out of college, like your Khalif Raymond type. And there was the guy that made the catch in the fourth quarter the other day. I forget his name. It's probably not a good sign. But it was the last touchdown that they scored, and he did the tightrope catch right on the sideline. And I mean, I don't know this guy, but I mean, they're all kind of the same sort of dude. So if you lose AJ Brown, who everybody's seen photos of him, like he's real stocky and big, he's built like an NFL receiver, and Corey Davis, I mean, it's just weird that they have those guys behind him. I don't know.
Dude, I've seen AJ Brown. I've seen those tackles that he broke. I've seen him, contact after, yards after run after the first contact. Doing terrible. But anyways, and dude, nobody can bring him down. When he wants to go, he's gone.
Right.
So, but what was his injury? What kept him out for so long? Was it just a calf or a hamstring or something?
Who's that?
AJ Brown. Haven't they both been injured this year? Him and Corey Davis?
Yeah, AJ Brown was out with something. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, he did miss a couple of games. I think it was like 2 games right in the middle.
And then Corey Davis, he hasn't been the most dependable guy over the past few years. He's been getting better every year. His numbers go up every year. That I think he had one off year where it went down. But the rest of the time he's been here, it has been, going up. So the question is, do you mess up the chemistry and, try to make room for him? Because right now the offense does have a chemistry, something that we haven't seen in Tennessee in fucking years.
Mm.
I mean, it's clicking. Right now things are clicking. I know we can't afford to keep everybody, so what do you do? Mike, you're the smart one when it comes to this shit. So
Yeah.
don't want to do it.
I think he's the odd man out. I don't think that there's any other way around it because you can't pay everybody. And eventually you're always going to lose a good player. But I don't know. I mean, I will say in defense of, whatever the Titans wind up doing if they go away from Davis is that it did take Corey Davis a long time to really become the guy. And still you can make an argument that he's not the guy now, because in the big games, he doesn't, like you said, he doesn't show up early in the game. He's not a factor early in the game. He doesn't make the deciding touchdowns. He doesn't make the big plays on third down to keep the drives alive and lead to them getting the leads and the early points and stuff. It's always kind of as they're coming back, which is good. But I'm just saying, like, it's sort of a signature of that type of player. I mean, there's a lot of receivers that are like that. Amari Cooper comes to mind. Amari Cooper will disappear for like 3 weeks straight. Then he'll come out against some sorry-ass team and throw up like 200 yards. Everybody's like, oh, man, Amari Cooper, number 1 receiver. And then he disappears for a game. Another guy is Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins, and watch this. This has happened the last 3 years. Sammy Watkins will have a huge day on the first game of the season.
Yeah.
And go absolutely nuts and fucking leave the planet for 15 games. And you won't hear from him again until the next year, the first game of the season. So I think it's just these guys get into a pattern. So I don't know if Davis is really worth the money if you take the whole picture in. You got to really be a believer that, this year is going to be every year going forward. I don't think they can afford to do that.
You guys know better than I do. I'm not real versed on the depth of what the Titans need to do roster wise.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, they need defense, dude. Their third down defense is the worst in the league.
It is.
I mean, dude, it's just it pisses you off watching it. Like without fail, if it's third down, you're like, well, might as well be first. I mean, that's just the way it's been.
Well, it's a master class on how important a pass rush is, because you see a team that really, I mean, and they, by all accounts, last year and early this year were a playoff contender team, possibly Super Bowl contending looking team, and they got knocked to their knees real quick from, what was it, 5-0, and now they're, what is their record now? 9-4, 9-5, somewhere in that range, 8-5 maybe. Yeah, so they lost a bunch of games in a hurry because they don't have a pass rush. You don't have pressure on the quarterback, teams can pick you apart, and they start to game plan around that. And that's exactly what Cleveland did. Cleveland just about laughed at them, and they came out throwing the ball and just said, you're not going to get to us anyway. It doesn't matter what we do. They got to lead. They got to get some major help in the draft. They got to get – and I appreciate what they try to do with Jadeveon Clowney and the other guy whose name I won't mention because all he did was steal money. But they tried to bring these free agents in, and it just didn't pan out. So now you're kind of stuck with what you have. Definitely need some pass rushers, or they're not going to go anywhere.
Did you know that 3 out of our 4 losses all came from the same division?
No.
Yeah. How about that?
Wow.
The Bengals, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland.
Yeah.
And then we also lost to the Colts. So, I mean, it's AFC all the way around. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's not surprising, though.
No, I mean, I'm just sitting here looking at some Eagles shit because, old Jalen Hurts, he's getting the start over Wentz.
Yeah.
And, it only took them, 14, 13 weeks to make that call. But
that Wentz, man, I'm sorry. I don't – it's never been for me. He's never been –
No, I'm the same way. I'm right there with you, Miles.
I don't get it. I don't understand. And I'm happy to see Jalen Hurts get his shot, man, because, yeah, why not at this point with them? I mean, shit, the guy – and we all the thing about Jalen Hurts, though, is like I'm kind of don't really know if he's an NFL quarterback. I just don't know. I'm not good enough to understand the metrics it takes. But, I mean, in football, in college, he put up some really good stats. But I don't know if you can throw the ball halfway decent behind an Alabama football offensive line, you're going to be a good quarterback, I feel like. I mean, they've got an NFL offensive line on their team every year. So, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know. He did well in Oklahoma, but I think I give him a shot. Is what I'm saying. Screw Wentz. Let him go.
Oh, they can't let him go.
Oh well, I mean, let him sit the bench.
They got to hold on to him because
it's like letting go of Jaws.
Yeah, dude. They can't let go. They got to keep him at least one more year before taking a huge. I mean, they're still going to take a hit, but yeah, they'll lose ridiculous amount of money if they cut him. Like 60 mils, like 59 or some shit like that. It's crazy.
Well, I will say, I think that the Eagles are doing the 100% right thing. And how many teams have you seen in the past where they have so much money tied up in a quarterback that they just won't bench him, that they know he's got to be on the team, and they hold on to him. We talked about it a little bit last week, how it just kind of splinters the locker room and guys get really pissed. But, kudos to the Eagles for doing this, man. Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of balls to have a quarterback that's still got, like $70, $80 million left on the contract, a lot of it guaranteed, and set him down for a guy who's a rookie, who's really unproven, and this point in the season, when realistically, even though they suck, the division's still within reach if they go on a tear. I mean, so if Hurts comes in and plays good, and say they just clean sweep the rest of the year, probably not going to happen. But for the argument's sake, now they got a problem next year because they have to keep Wentz on the roster, and no one's going to trade for him, and you can't now go spend that money on some other pieces around this young quarterback. But I do think he kind of fits a particular mold where he can be okay. He has to be better than Wentz. Wentz was making some terrible decisions, man. I mean, just the worst.
Yeah, he leads the league in interceptions right now.
And the only thing, though, is the concern I have for Jalen Hurts is, I mean, their offensive line pretty much sucks in Philadelphia. They're like a sieve. So,
but that's not really though, because Carson Wentz holds the ball longer than anyone else, which is why he's been sacked more than anyone else.
He does hold the ball, but Jalen got sacked a few times this past weekend as well.
Yeah, but he also threw some balls and got out of the pocket and got away from him.
He's got better legs.
Oh, definitely. I don't know. To me, Carson Wentz is playing like he's scared.
Yes.
You know, he's
Right.
been hurt. Dude, after that one season where they went to the Super Bowl, where he just kind of got to sit and watch. I think he hasn't played the same since. He had a decent year after that, but got hurt again.
Shell shocked.
Yeah. So I don't know, dude. I'm not sold on him either. I'm glad Jalen Hurts is getting the start. Carson Wentz lost the team a few games ago. He's lost the team. And
Yep.
once you lose the confidence of the team, when things keep going wrong, and no matter what you try, you can sit there and say, "Yeah, I need to work on myself. I need to do this. I need to do that," and you're still not doing it. You're not showing it. You're not proving it on the field. Fuck off, dude.
But here's a question, man. So, I mean, a couple of years ago, the year that they were going to the Super Bowl, he actually was a dark horse MVP candidate that season. He was really good before he got hurt.
Absolutely.
And he had Doug Peterson as a coach, and Peterson's still there. So, I mean, what happened? I mean, do you put that on Wentz? Do you put that on the coach? I mean, something there has changed. And I don't know if it's more they're trying to get him to take these deep shots downfield or giving him something too complex and he's just not, square peg round hole, or if he's just kind of going against the grain. They were actually talking about, I don't know if you guys saw this, but they were talking about Peterson's coaching for his job. This last game, if it really went south, he may not have a job this week. I mean, 3 years after Super Bowl. So I don't really know where the blame lies, but their argument could be made either way.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like too hard of a crash for it to be on one person, it definitely feels as though there's some falling apart outside of just Wentz. I mean, surely to God, you can't have all the same people around him, give or take. I understand that there's been changes, but head coach and whatnot, and him just fall apart like this, man. I mean, it's like he's at the end of his career and he's hit the wall, and he's not that old.
No, he's not. I mean, but dude, injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I think the injury has him scared at this point.
He's going to have one of the saddest NFL careers when we look back at this guy. I mean, to be a stud your first year and then be injured and then you back up, take a Super Bowl win from you, and then you just peter out the rest of the time.
Yeah,
Come on.
Hey. Well,
it's like a country song.
30 for 30.
So, all right. So let's get into this. Sorry for the awkward pause there, but it is me. The Jets. The Jets had it, dude. The Jets had that game, man.
Oh.
And then Greg Williams calls an all-out blitz.
Hey, hang on. What? Oh, we're going to lose Trevor Lawrence? All right, hang on. Send everybody.
Yeah.
Send everybody. Let's play. All right, we got it.
Yeah. Oh, man. Wow.
I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, it's not a good call, obviously.
I mean,
but
that lost them the game. I mean, we joked around about, the Chargers finding ways to lose games. Which, they still have a better record than the Jets. Of course, everyone does. But, geez, dude, wow, you had it in your hands. All you had to do was stop them from getting in field goal range. I mean,
I've never seen someone tank on the last play. Like, just give up. Like, this is a moral victory. We're out.
Yep. And we could have won, and we know that. That's good enough for us. We know
on the other side of the coin, the Raiders cannot feel good about that. I mean, there is no celebration there.
No, dude, I mean, they can't celebrate much of anything this year except for their rushing game. They got a good rushing game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think dude's got he's in the top 10 of rushing. Is it Jacobs?
Yeah. I got a hell of a tight end too.
Waller.
Dude, Derek Carr's getting good numbers, but I gotta, I'm thinking that most of those numbers come in the fourth quarter and they're just kind of trash stats.
It could be. It could be. And he's got a lot of turnovers too. He's fumbled. Derek Carr's thing is fumbling. He fumbles a lot. And sometimes he fumbles without pressure or anybody touching it. He just drops the ball. I've seen him do that I mean, he reminds me of like Dave Craig from back in the day, who used to hold the record for the most fumbles. I don't know who has it now, but he's not really the guy. They've got some guys who can play on the Raiders that have kind of gotten them this far. They're not going to the playoffs. I think they're going to be like a game short, and they're probably going to ruin somebody down the end of the last couple games they're going to play, but they're not for real. Anybody who goes that long with the Jets, where they really should have lost that game. No.
Nope.
Sorry.
Nope.
But I mean, have the Jets been blown out all year, or they've had some close games, haven't they?
One or two.
Yeah, they've been beaten pretty bad.
So what did y'all think about what about your neck of the woods, Miles? Your hometown team over there almost took out the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's kind of the Chiefs have a weakness in our division against us than the Chargers, man. Sometimes we can get their number, and it's this time it was a lot closer than it should have been. I mean, but the one thing that holds both the Chargers and the Denver together is they have a somewhat okay defense, I believe. I mean, it's fair to say that they're not terrible. Offensively, Denver has no chance of doing anything, but the Chargers, how they have their offense isn't terrible. So, other than Mike was saying before the show, the special teams is obviously the Chargers, weakness, but I really can't put my finger on anything else. Like, why haven't they won a little bit more?
I don't know. I don't get it either. I mean, they definitely have. They got a decent. I mean, they didn't do too good in offense this past week. That's for sure.
No, they didn't.
Fucking put it to their ass, dude.
Yeah,
that
was bad.
Yeah, dude, that was an ass whooping right there.
Mm-hmm. Fucking belly chip.
He's a coach, dude.
Yeah,
but they needed that win to get to 500, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Now 6-6.
They're going to shock somebody. Teams like the Raiders and the Patriots, they always get to the end of the year and they're going to beat someone and be the difference in them getting into the playoffs or not. And neither one of those teams are going to go. But I mean, I could see them playing. Like, I don't know what their schedule is. In fact, I'm going to pull it up real quick and just look at the Patriots' schedule. But I bet you in these last 4 games, they're going to get somebody who's got something to lose, and then they're going to lose to them. And it's just going to be like their whole role for the 2020 season was to keep this team out of the playoffs. They got the Rams, Miami, Buffalo, and New York the last 4 games.
The Rams are leading their division. They're tied with Seattle right now. Now, who else did you say?
Miami, Buffalo, and New York. So I bet the Patriots are going to wind up beating Miami. And then that'll be like the game that keeps them out.
Probably.
Because they're kind of one of those fringe teams.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, let's see. Buffalo, they're good.
Yeah.
I think their quarterback situation is not 100%.
Well, I mean, 8-4 could be the difference between, going for being a wild card or not. At this point, because they're Tennessee, Indianapolis, and Miami are all 8-4 in that division.
Right. Well, with the 7 teams, I mean, you're going to have somebody. Somebody's going to have to lose 2 games, and the guy that loses 2 games is not going to make it in out of that group.
Dude, New England could get in on a fucking. If they went out, they could get in. Who's New England?
No, really?
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
No.
Just saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go.
Not with 3. If you got 3 wild cards.
I don't speak that into existence. We don't want New England in the playoffs.
No,
so I'm going the other way, and then you're like, hold on, no, we're not doing that.
No.
I'm just saying it's a possibility. So.
I got to have 1 year of my life besides 2008 where they didn't go to the playoffs.
Oh, shit.
I can't remember any of that kind of shit.
I don't think they'll win out. The Bills are going to be.
Yeah, I don't like to say that, but dude, divisional games, I don't put any kind of stock in them, man. You don't know what, I mean, just like you were just saying with Denver and the Chargers going up against the Chiefs,
Yeah, I just don't feel like, I mean, The Bills have the offensive firepower, though. You know, they can.
But the Patriots also have a defense, which they always have.
Yes,
They
true.
just don't have the offense this year, but they always have the defense, man.
They do. They do.
They never get talked about.
It's the way Bill Belichick likes it.
I guess.
Yeah, I think your wild card teams. I think your wild card teams are going to be probably. I'll say Miami for now. Miami, and then Cleveland, and then Indianapolis, and that's going to leave the Raiders and the Ravens on the outside. And New England's going to have to overcome all those guys, all 5 of those teams, to find that 7th spot because they're all going to be ducking around in there. It's going to be crazy because they're all so close together. You know, the Dolphins are 8-4, Patriots are 2 games back from them. I mean, everybody else is kind of somewhere in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah, Cleveland definitely should be getting in at this point. I mean, it's not
Wins.
not anything could happen, but I think it'd be great if Pittsburgh had to come in as a wild card.
You're praying for it hard, man. You're looking
I
for
am,
that to
dude.
happen.
I am. I don't want them to win the
Let's do it.
division. Because I mean, it's totally doable, dude. If Cleveland wins out, they win the division. I don't know, dude. I might be getting on that Cleveland bandwagon.
I will say this right now, and I'll put my name on it, man. If Pittsburgh winds up going 11-5, I'll be just as happy as you. That'll be awesome.
That would be great.
I'm not always pulling for somebody to suck, but that would be great.
It would. See, so Jacksonville this weekend plays Tennessee.
Sorry, man. We'll lose that game. Don't worry.
No, I don't. Why? Why would Tennessee lose that game?
Mike Glennon,
Oh, good God.
fear the neck.
Yes.
Old Big Bird coming to town, gonna kick the Titans' ass.
Yeah.
Hey, they haven't looked bad with him under center.
No, they haven't. They kind of look like the Chargers in the sense that they're losing. They're losing very close games.
Well,
They put up a fight against Green Bay.
yeah.
They put up a legit fight in Green Bay, no less.
Mhm.
They'll win another game. I have no doubt.
It'd be great for those Colts again because that's the only game they've won.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
Yep, the 2 games they win is the Colts.
I'm pulling for you guys. I'm pulling for Jacksonville to win at least 1 and Pittsburgh to lose out.
Yes, I would love for Pittsburgh to lose out. Oh, that'd be great.
I don't like Pittsburgh, but I just can't deny that they. I mean, listen, easy
What?
schedules make more sense in college than they do in NFL. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So I mean, at any given Sunday, man, and anybody could have beaten them, and they didn't.
I'm with you. But I don't. They have not faced an offense with the firepower of Kansas City.
No, they will not beat Kansas City.
I'm just saying. But dude, Miles, we don't need this kind of negativity. All right, we all need to be on the same boat and try to put those positive thoughts into them.
God, we got Tony Robbins on the broadcast.
Just sucking ass all the way to the end of the season.
You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Heath.
Anything else y'all want to talk about?
That's pretty much
think
all
we got
I
it.
got. I got
Yeah.
I'm calling for the Rams tomorrow night. It's one of my games I'm calling.
Rams. Who's
Yep.
that playing?
Pats.
Ooh. Yeah. No, I'm with you on that.
You think so?
Yeah, dude. I mean, no one's talking about LA. Of course, we don't really talk about the NFC anyways. I mean, they're not talked about down here where I am. I'm sure they are where Mike is, but they're not talked about here. But yeah, they got the best defense.
I will
What
take
is
the Patriots.
Really?
I will take the Patriots. It's a trap game. It's Belichick. Me and Miles were kind of like rapping on this a little bit. I think it's going to be one of these situations where the Rams show up small in prime time, which they do sometimes. And I think the Patriots will take advantage. I don't know if it's I think it just could be like one of those rando situations where Patriots happen to show up and be the better team. But that 45-0 game, man, could be kind of something that spurs them. And God, we all hope not, but I think they could win this game tomorrow night. I'll take the Patriots. And the points. You guys are giving points.
I'm not giving shit.
I got another one too. I think the Vikings might take Tampa Bay this week.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Look, man, they have been the best sorry record team all year long. They started out like what 0-3, 0-4.
Mm-hmm.
They were a great team coming into the season. I think that they're actually starting to really hammer it, and I think they can beat anybody right now. I wouldn't want to play them. No. I'm glad the Titans got them early in the season and not now because they definitely wouldn't beat them now.
No.
All right, so the game I'm choosing is the Giants over the Cardinals.
I agree with that.
Yep.
I think the Giants are on a tear right now. But the only problem is they get Daniel Jones back next week. So who knows?
Well, there you go. Now, do you think Jalen Hurts is going to have a hell of a time going against the Saints, whose defenses are just fucking top notch, like every other team we've been talking about?
Yes, you will.
You will.
Yep.
Mike?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
I wouldn't judge him on this game that he's got coming up.
Do you think New Orleans really gives a shit?
Oh, no. Does New Orleans give a shit about Jalen Hurts?
No, about the game. Because, they clinched.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but they have a little ways to go before they can really, put the brakes on. They got to win at least 2 more games. Looking at the standings right now, they are 10-2. So they get to 12-2, they can start resting starters because they've got to get far enough ahead of Green Bay and far enough ahead of the Rams to be the number 1 seed. So Green Bay 9-3.
All right. So what's Drew Brees' status?
No idea.
Said he didn't practice today, so it's probably Taysom Hill this weekend.
Do you think they're going to so Drew Brees is close to coming back, though?
He's supposed to come back. He's eligible to come back. I guess they put him on IR, and he would be eligible to come back this week, but he's not practicing. So that means he's not going to be in this weekend, and he'd have to really get some time on the field next week to really be in for next weekend. I don't think he's going to play it. I think this is now going to become a situation if they're winning with Taysom Hill, they'll say, well, we're going to wait till Brees is 100% healthy and kind of stretch it another couple of weeks to give him a bigger audition.
Right. That makes sense.
It does.
He hasn't looked bad, man, as a passer.
No, he has not, dude. He's looked really good.
Their game plan for him has been really good.
Yeah, they're playing to his strengths.
Yep.
Yes.
So. All right, cool, guys.
I guess we'll
pick it up next week.
See you later.
All right.
Your kids lead it.
Yep.